This is the Unstarving Musicians podcast. I'm your host, Rabonzo. This podcast features conversations with indie music artists and indie pros and me. It's all intended to help other artists be better at marketing, business, the creative process, and all the other things that empower us to do more of what we love. Make music. Hey, the Unstarving Musician is made possible through the generosity of listeners like you. If you love the podcast, please visit our sponsor page at unstarvingmusician.com/crowd sponsor to learn about the different ways that you can support the podcast. Welcome to another episode. Thank you for joining me again, or for the very first time. My guest is singer, songwriter, producer Otto. He is based in Wales, but is English by birth. I learned about him while researching the collaboration app called Tracked, which I was doing for an article that I published on Forbes.com. There will be a link in the show notes if you would like to check that article out. Otto and I discuss his experience as a Tracked user and how it got him involved with producer Dave Stewart, who you may know from work with the Eurythmics and or many other high-profile projects. Also, that work, we discuss how it resulted in a new single, and that may be singles. I've gotten a little behind on where Otto is at since we had this conversation, but I know his latest single, as of today, is Tell Me Something. You can check out a video that he created for the song on Instagram at I Go By Otto. I highly recommend you do that. His voice is captivating, as is his songwriting style. He also, in our conversation, drops a great tip on songwriting, tells me how he got one of his songs A-listed with BBC Radio in Wales and exactly what that whole A-listed thing means. It's kind of educational for me. He gives me a tour of his home studio, and we've listed out some of his gear in the show notes, as well as included some photos showing some of Otto's studio gear if you are interested in seeing that. We talk a bit about recording on the go, and his agenda moving forward following this flurry of new release activity and new opportunities that are afforded to him because of his relationship with Dave Stewart. All these things that are elevating his career. It's a really fun conversation. I so hope to stay in touch with him. He's a great, great guy. All right, without further ado, here is me and Otto. How long have you been a Tracked user?
God, quite a while now. So I met Grant through a project that sort of they help develop artists. So I met Grant. He's the artist and relation manager at Tracked, and he sort of became my mentor for my music and stuff like that. Probably about 2-3 years ago, I've known Grant for now. So I've sort of. He was like, oh, you should check out the app that we're developing. So I've sort of I downloaded it and was like, this is actually really cool.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, been using it for a while. I haven't posted that much on it just because it's like really busy, but yeah, it's really cool. So I've been on there for quite some time, although I haven't posted as much as I'd like to. But yeah, probably about years.
Did you, so a few years you said?
Yeah, about a few years now,
wow.
I think, probably.
It's really interesting how long, like Tracked and Soundstorming, another app I mentioned in the article. That, by the way, thank you for sharing my article on Facebook, the Forbes article.
No, it's my pleasure. Thank you for mentioning me.
yeah, absolutely. I'm a new contributor there, so it's very cool for me when people do that. But it's amazing to find out how long they've been around. I think Soundstorming actually started up about 10 years ago. But yeah, I guess kind of a long haul for them, but they're suddenly coming into the public eye because of the weirdness of COVID. Yeah. It
is really strange. It's been quite a while.
When you started using it, were you more active at one time, and then things just got kind of busy as the popularity of your music happens?
Yeah. I guess it's kind of like I use it a lot, so I mainly use it on my iPad, and if I'm sort of laying in bed writing a song or something, I'll kind of, if I've got a melody that's really catchy, the iPad doesn't have sort of a way of sound recording quickly, so I just chuck the app open, and I usually keep all my voice notes for songs on my iPad on there. And then if any of them are sort of good enough, I'll probably wake up the next day and I've got like where you're facing, so where my camera is and stuff. There's like I've got a little home studio set up, so I'll sort of record a demo version of the song and then upload it. But yeah, like you said, it's quite a funny one. Like I'd like to use it more. I think I'd like to use everything a bit more. But when you're being an artist and creating stuff, it's like you can sometimes spread yourself quite thin and try and cover lots of ground. Whereas I'm a real firm believer of like if the song is good, then everything falls into place. So trying my best to remove the spreading and just focus sort of solely on the song at the moment. But yeah, I've not been using it as much as I'd like to, but for good purpose, I guess.
Yeah, well, that turned into a good songwriting tip. I just finished the recording process of what'll be my first single ever. I've only written.
Oh, wow.
I was writing very casually many years ago, but it's just coincidental that I did most of it during the pandemic. I had actually started, but certainly the pandemic, because I've been mostly a performing musician all my life, and as a drummer predominantly. And with the pandemic, I thought, well, I'm going to do something I've always wanted to do and set myself up to record, the acoustic drum kit here and record some demos on guitar. But I was just telling my wife and a friend of mine that I was sharing the song with that, I would have done. Well, I was collaborating with. So I wrote it, but I have a friend in Texas who is an incredible musician and sound engineer. So I was basically sending him my tracks and letting him do all of his magic with them. And then another guy from California contributed bass and helped me with a backing vocal idea. So I'm telling my friend that I would have, personally pulled the vocal level down a little bit, and I wanted to work a little harder on the backup stuff. But at some point, for me, I had to say perfection is going to become my enemy because of time and money and just everything. And plus, I was trying to trust my sound engineer friend who's got a lot of experience because he was kind of the one who did some of the stuff and thought it sounded good. So anyway.
Yeah, that's one of the tips that I've because the competition that Tract has done and been sort of getting to know Dave and stuff like that, which is really nice. And he said he's like, he's been a producer for years and years now.
Yeah.
And probably long before I was born, that's for sure. And he said he's like he prefers vocals right up front in a mix whenever he gets sent stuff. If the vocals are like dead center, really up front, really loud, you get to sort of hear the rawness and the lyrical content behind the song, which is something that I really agree with as well. So.
Yeah, I get that. And now that you say that, like I'm most familiar with this work with Annie Lennox, of course, and Mick Jagger, and in all of those works, the vocals are extremely prominent, but there's a lot going on behind them.
Yeah.
I have this, I've always loved rock, and so my song's not hard. It probably, it's not hard, but it's definitely got the guitar, bass, and drum element, right? And so for me, I kind of always imagine the vocals being a little more blended in, which is pretty common with rock tunes, whereas you have producers like Dave Stewart, and they'll put them really out there, which is great. It works really well, especially, like in music like your own, and who knows, maybe someday in my own.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
So, yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's got it's a new adventure for me, and I know that, speaking of new adventures, I know that you're getting into a few. Hey, give me just a sec. I'm gonna fix one thing here because people that are gonna watch this are gonna be super annoyed with me switching back and forth. So I'm gonna pause for just 1 second. Okay, I think it's going. So we'll see how that goes. I may text you later and say, well, the video's crap.
Shoddy, let's go again.
Yeah. No,
that's 5OB.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is I typically do audio only, so it won't be that weird for people who listen to my podcast. But I thought someday if I ever did video, it would be more a thing where we got to sit in a room together. But, given the pandemic and our distance from one another, of course, this is a perfect opportunity to just do it like this. And more people are doing that. So it's all good. So let's see. Where was I before I distracted myself?
Adventures, I think.
Adventures?
Yeah. You said you're getting yourself into quite a few adventures.
I don't know where I was going with that, but I do have plenty of other stuff to ask you about. So I had read that Post was produced by Charlie Francis, and Post is your latest release, right?
Yeah, my first and latest. Yeah.
You had something before that, no?
Yeah, well, so I've dabbled in releasing because I self-produced like my first ever record that got on radio that was self-produced, and I was in like a duo um, years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and then the duo ended up splitting, and then I solo like followed my solo career sort of wholeheartedly, and it's ended up paying off quite well, which is really nice. But yeah, it's been I had that, but it wasn't sort of like a serious. It was sort of a lot more fun and just kind of cheery-ish songs, whereas these are the songs, and the thing that I'm doing with my music now is like I want something to say, and I want a story to tell, and I want to be able to put it across in the best way that I possibly can. And I think anything that I've done before now hasn't quite been there just yet, whereas this currently feels like something that I'm really proud of.
Cool. It sounds great. So I was a bit enamored to find this out because I'm a big REM fan, and I'm like, oh, look at him. He's working with the same people that worked with REM. How cool is that?
Yeah. Charlie's a really lovely guy. He actually texted me today just to check up on me, so I'm doing this stuff. So he's like, got a couple people in the industry who sort of mentoring me and kind of shoved me in the right direction, I guess. And he's one of them. He's a really lovely guy. He's a phenomenal cook as well, and his wife's really lovely too. We both actually. I bought myself it's a Yamaha U1 piano from 1970s, and me and him now have the same make piano. His is from 1984, I think, so his is 10 years younger than mine, but we're now matching piano buddies, which is great.
That's funny. How did you guys meet?
So that was through the same thing that I met Grant through, which was this sort of development scheme here in South Wales, and yeah, he's based in Cardiff, which to me is only like 30-minute drive away or something like that, so it's not too far. And he's really active in the local scene in Cardiff, and so am I. Go to as many gigs as I can, not just sort of play my own, try and see everyone, and sort of show my face when I can as well. So it's just kind of saw him here and there, and then thought actually I want to do some stuff with him, and then applied for funding, and through BBC Horizons, which is this funding launch pad here in South Wales for like emerging artists. I managed to get enough money together to get the post EP produced by him, which is it's really good.
That's amazing. Well, kudos to you for the high level at which you play and write. You've gotten noticed twice, by some important people for that. So that's really cool.
Oh, thank you.
I saw something you'll have to tell me, well, two things. Forgive me for my ignorance on this first one. Is Cardiff in Wales or in England?
It's in Wales. It's the capital of Wales.
Okay. Oh man, now I sound like a real idiot.
No. To be fair, Wales is a very small sort of country, so it's not super well known.
And I'm American, right? We really
across the big pond.
We're really horrible with geography traditionally. I'm actually in Panama, by the way. I don't know if you knew. So I'm not even in my home country, but I've been living here since 2016. My wife and I moved here. Crazy, huh?
Ooh, lovely. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, it would be nicer if we weren't in a pandemic, but we had some good times before the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, well, that is very cool. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention is that I saw something I was unfamiliar with about you being A-listed by the BBC. What does that mean?
So I don't know if it's the same over in America as it is here in the UK, but you get different types of listings with radio.
Uh-huh.
So with the BBC, you get if you're A-listed, they play. So A-listed is the highest listing, which means they play a song throughout daytime, nighttime, early morning shows. It goes through. Luckily, the Boxer off of the Post EP got A-listed for 5 weeks through like last summer. So all of that summer, I was driving along in my car and I turned the radio on and ended up hearing myself, which is a bit strange but nice as well. So that's the way it works. And then like I don't know for BBC Radio Wales if it's like if they have a CMB listing, but you can move up and down the A listing, and like I was quite lucky. I got with how that sort of came about was Bethan Alvin is the radio presenter who runs the Horizons Launchpad funding project, and she funded the post EP pretty much, or they funded the post EP, the body for BBC, and she played it on her show. Her producer messaged me or emailed me and said, really love the song, going to try and get it some more plays. And I just really cheekily asked, if you like it so much, could you A-list it? So he CC'd his boss. And his boss rang me while I was filming promotional videos for Boxer, and he was like, which songs off the EP would you like sort of A-listed? And I just said, Boxer, out and out. It's the one that I want to have the most radio play. So it's kind of like it's just a way of them, like if you're not, you can get like spot plays. So spot plays is where a presenter will like your song and they'll just play it once. And usually a lot of bands just get sort of a spot play and then that'll be it. And then usually to get A-listing, you need a radio plugger to be involved or someone along those lines. So I was quite lucky to sort of get A-listed without any of that involved.
Yeah, cool. Clearly they like you.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, no, that's great. All right, so I'm going to be rude one more time and grab my coffee. Hang on a sec.
Go for it.
I'm not always this unprofessional.
Cheers. Miles away.
Yeah, I've got a horrible, I call my setup here the hole. I don't have a proper desk, and so I've just got these various things holding my gear up, and I took my impromptu coffee stand away, so I had to set it out of reach.
Yeah.
It was sitting on a hand drum, and I had guests over the other night. I'm like, I'm going to go put this out because it's a nice looking drum that sort of adds decor in our living space. And I'm like, I'll just put it back out there for tonight. And it hasn't made its way back in. So let's see, The Boxer. I saw the video for this. I love this set, and I wanted to ask you to just tell me about the set for the video.
Oh yeah, so the live videos.
And I'm sorry, is this different than the official kind of video for the release?
I've never had an official video done ever.
Okay.
To this date. But yeah, so I've never like I'm a bit of a, like, I think if a song does really, really well and you make enough money back from it to do a video, then spend the money on the video. But like I said before, I think like if I've got money saved up, or if I've got any money, I'll put that money towards getting the song to sound the best it can, and then the rest can fold in. I'm quite lucky at the moment where some sort of circumstances have changed, and I can sort of pay for quite a bit of stuff now, which is nice. But yeah, the videos, they so this is the room that we're in now. This is the old post office. This is the telegram room. So during World War II, this is where they used to send all the telegrams here locally. This building also used to be where they held all the miners' wages, because South Wales is well known for being like a mining town, mining village. So the video that was shot, the setting is literally attached to the side of my house. We've got like a warehouse where they used to park all of the post vans and send and sort all the letters. I just filmed it in there, and I think the house is sort of the centerpiece of the EP, and sort of created the whole concept, I think.
Wow. Now, is that area where it was the warehouse, as you call it, is that a common area to a living space that has multiple, like a multi-residence living, or is this place where you live at the post office just like a single family?
It's a single house. Yeah, it's a single family house. So it goes from that big warehouse into the kitchen and then we go up the stairs, and you've got this hallway and the front room, which used to be, where you'd deposit letters and take money out and stuff like that. And you come up the stairs, and then you're in this room, and then you go up again, and there's like the main sort of living quarters, which back then used to be the postmaster's quarters, where the head postmaster used to live.
Wow. How fortunate to have that cool space for that video. It looks really neat, and I was like, oh wow, I just want to hear how we got it all set up. And
well, I have to say kudos to Trigger Happy Creative, which is my pianist. So the guy's playing piano in that video. He's a really lovely guy. So is his girlfriend. They both own this company where they film music videos. They've done quite a lot of music videos here locally. They've won a couple like Cardiff Music Awards and stuff like that for it. He came over with a bunch of his cameras, and out of frame there's this like huge lighting dome, making everything look really nice. And we did a couple of smoke machines here and there, and some incense sticks and stuff. So he made it look really special, and I'm really lucky to sort of have him on board with everything that I'm making, and he's a really lovely character. So just a quick thanks to him for coming down and helping out.
Very cool. And were those folks kind of managing the sound for that as well, or were you involved in the sound production aspect?
Yeah, so I produced the sound for those videos. Yeah, so I mixed it all in my home studio. I'll give you a quick whip around. So I got like a MIDI keyboard. It's a bit messy because I've been sort of busy. But I've got a pair of HS8s, so one here and then one on the other side as well. Then I've got this Universal Audio, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Then I've just got like guitars and piano and bits and bobs, just like percussion. I wish I could get a good enough sort of drum kit in here, and a couple nice microphones, maybe another Neumann and a couple like Rhodes or something, some nice Rode mics. But yeah, so far it's sort of minimalistic and quite bare, which in some ways works sometimes quite well. So, but yeah, so I was in control for all of that sort of stuff.
And tell me about the Universal Audio device. What is that? An audio interface, or what exactly is it?
Yes, that's my audio interface that I'm using at the moment. I recently got it, so with the competition that Tract ran, I sort of any money I get, I reinvest into my music, because it's sort of music is one of those things where the more you put in, the more you get out. And I've always loved producing. Like I've been, like I said, the first song I sort of put out, I didn't even put it out properly, but it got played on radio, which was really nice. And since then, I did a college course for 3 years studying sort of sound technology and stuff like that. And yeah, this audio interface is really good. It's incredible, like the sort of analog to digital conversion that it does, and paired up. Like I've got, let me show you this. This is I always keep a bag on it to stop any dust from getting in the capsule. But this is my main mic, which is a TLM 103, which is a really, really nice microphone. I'm hoping to pair it up with a Neve 1073 at some point, but for now it's okay. For now it does its job, which is good. I've also got I've recently got this as well, which is quite a cool one if you're into sort of
totally
stuff,
totally.
Which is so this is this here is called Roger, which is my Akai GX 4000D tape to tape or reel to reel tape machine. And I've got it set up so if I need to like run any songs or anything through the sort of through my audio and get it sounding old and crackly, and I find that running strings through reel to reel at like 3 IPS, like the 3 speed, 3 inches per second speed, you get the sort of, the old Disney movie sort of string feel to it. They sound like really like kind of warm and fuzzy. Yeah, you get that sort of vibe from it. So I haven't, oddly enough, I got it and I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to properly use it yet. I've just fiddled with it on a couple of songs and run it through the master mix, but I want to get some more hardware equipment to sort of fiddle with and play with, because I think the more equipment you've got in front of you, just the more creative you can be, I guess.
Sure. And is the media for that reel to reel expensive? Does it last long, or?
So this one's I think it's a 3 head. So it's got an erase head on it. So as soon as you run it through, or you can erase, so you can like erase tape. You can wear the tape out. So it's quite cool. Like if you wear the tape out, you'll get like artifacts and stuff in it. Where if you want that really old, crackly, sort of fuzzy, cruddy, kind of like old, muddy sounding vibe, you can just keep reusing the same tape, keep doing stuff on it, and sometimes you'll even get a bit of bleed from what you previously recorded on it, if the tape heads aren't aligned properly. But yeah, no, so it's not too expensive. I picked up that tape machine for I think it was around about £290, and what it gives to the music is something that, I mean, I've also got like the Waves plugins for tape machines and stuff, but none of them have the 3 inches per second speed on them. So it's quite nice to have that really low analog, like lo-fi sort of warm sound. So yeah, so that's what that does. It's quite fun.
That's cool. I need to have you're maybe like the third person I've spoken with, and I was looking this morning, I'm not terribly far away from 200 episodes now, but the third person I've talked to a in detail about gear, or who's had described, some gear to me in detail. And usually it's either home recording. I've done some on video as well, about video gear or video recording, as well. But I'm sitting here thinking I need to do like just a total geek audio studio segment for the podcast for people that want to see what others are using. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, like most of this stuff, I'm really new to recording, so this year is the first time I've ever done it. I've been thinking about it and talking about it all my life. So when you showing me some of this gear, I'm like, I've never seen anything like that. Now the reel-to-reel, I'm familiar with the concept of universal audio. I just assumed it was an audio interface, but I've watched some things on YouTube of some guys doing some stuff, and I'm like, I don't even know what that piece of gear does.
Yeah, well, I got quite lucky. Weirdly, before lockdown happened, I say lucky. I guess I was lucky. I was driving my car, heading down to a studio in Cardiff just before lockdown happened, and I was like indicating turning right in my car, and some guy decided to overtake me and slammed straight into the side of my car, right into the engine block, and wrote my car off. Luckily, if I was like going a little bit quicker, it would have hit straight into the driver's side. So I was lucky. But they wrote my car off, and with the money that they wrote my car off, I bought a perpetual license for Pro Tools, because I thought, I was like, I'm not going to be needing my car for a while now, seeing as I'm going to be in lockdown. And it's ended up, having Pro Tools is like, it's a suck, because before that I was using FL Studios. And for live music and being able to like chuck everything in time with elastic audio and stuff like that is incredible. It's godsend, that is. So yeah, it's really good, really useful.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I am using Logic Pro. My friend who helped me with the song's been a long time Pro Tools user, and I know it seems like Pro Tools, there's so many people using Logic, but it still seems that officially Pro Tools is kind of the de facto for
I
the
don't know
studio
why. I
guy.
think it's just like everyone uses it. Literally, like Charlie Francis, the guy who produced the Post EP, he uses it. I think it's just kind of like ease of access as well in a weird way, like to have all your licenses in one place. And like some people really hate the iLox, but I've bought loads of Waves plugins where it's I bought like the Abbey Road collection where it's got like all the old Abbey Road hardware all in sort of software version instead, and having all the licenses in one place and stuff is really easy, really useful, because I got a MacBook as well, and if I was ever traveling around, I'm not traveling around at the moment, but hopefully when everything lifts up, I'll be sort of shooting about, and I'll be able to take my laptop on tour with me and sort of make stuff and stuff like that, which would be nice.
I talked to one Tract user who's a busker, and he's been traveling musician all of his life, and he's actually releasing music. He's recording on track. He said, I can't carry studio gear around with me. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty incredible. But anyway, yes, I would be, well, I can't really travel with the drum setup, but, you traveling with your laptop to mix things or record, a single instrument or voices or whatever is nice.
Yeah. I mean, I've been quite lucky. I mean, I've got like a live band, and my band are really lovely. They're really lovely guys. But like I write all the parts myself, so I'll usually, other than the drums, I wish I could play drums. I wish I had a drum kit, but not yet. One day.
Yes.
But like so far, I'll track everything one at a time. So I'll just go guitar, then track vocals. So if I was on tour or anything, I'd easily be able to crack out a single while sitting on a tour bus, as long as it's quiet enough.
That's cool. Yeah, nice that you can play all that stuff as well. And yes, I see a drum set in your future, and you'll be tracking some drums and just doing that album where you play everything and do everything on it pretty soon. That's cool.
Fingers crossed. One day.
Yeah. All right. Let me see here. I think I'm still interrupting my screen, but let me see what else I want to ask you here. Man, we hit on a lot of stuff, and I'm sitting here holding my coffee instead of taking notes, but. Where did you meet the band, by the way? Are they all local guys, or did you get kind of lined up with them?
So I got with the A-listing with the BBC. I started thinking, I was like, I've got loads of festivals that I got booked for, and I was thinking the songs sound really big, and they're sort of full, and it's not just like me and a single guitar or anything like that. And I thought it'd be really good to actually have some live players come and play the songs with me. So I just put an advert on Facebook into like a local musicians group thing. Don't use Facebook that much anymore, but just popped it on there and had a response from my drummer and my bassist. We played a couple gigs with my pianist, and then I had my guitarist then approach me at one of the gigs and say like, I'd really love to be a part of this. No, so I was like, okay, you're in. Yeah, really, really lovely guy as well. So they're all really nice. So yeah, it's kind of sort of just kind of formed about in a sort of natural way. Just sort of festival season, need some live session musicians to come and play some stuff, and yeah, they're all really chill and got some rehearsal sessions in at Music Box down in Cardiff, and yeah, cracked it out.
Very cool. You mentioned you're not using Facebook much, and this is kind of would be helpful to me for both the podcast and music. But are you using? I was about to ask why you're not using Facebook, but we can probably spend a few minutes on that. But are you using other social media platforms, or is it that you kind of do you have a team or someone that's kind of helping you on that front so you can focus on other stuff now?
Well, so there's a couple of really fun things that are happening behind the scenes. So I will soon have sort of a couple people helping me out with stuff like that. But at the moment, yeah, it's just mainly just like I'm quite quiet on my Facebook page anyway to do my music, and I'm sort of the one thing that I'm not super duper uber keen on is like ramming my music down people's throats. I'll just sort of put it there, promote it a little bit, like by saying what I've achieved with the music, and then just sort of moving on to the next release then, and just kind of do it that way. I think it's like when you ask a kid to eat vegetables and they're like, no, I'm not going to eat vegetables. And then when you stop asking them to eat vegetables, then they eat all of the vegetables. So I think it's that sort of mentality when you tell people to do something, they just naturally don't want to do it. And also, with the pandemic and political stuff here in the UK, it's just like I thought, you know what, I'm gonna leave that aside. And I feel like Instagram's a lot more of a positive place, or at least the people that I follow on there are a lot more positive, and it's a positive environment. And I feel like when writing songs and trying to be creative, having that sort of positivity surround you means you're not sort of just writing depressing songs all the time, which is something that you can sometimes get into a circle of doing, which I sometimes do that, right? Just sad songs every day.
Okay, well, cool. That's insightful. Because you mentioned Instagram, and that's still, it's funny, I've even seen that platform and LinkedIn, change, but I've learned a couple of tricks on social to keep my eyes away from things I don't really care to spend time on, and things that will kind of, there are just certain things when you see them, it's like a train wreck, you can't not look.
Yeah.
And so I have some little things that I do, A, not spending too much time on them, but B, just so that I can avert my eyes. And, sometimes that means weeding people away from my, from my inner circle. But anyway, it's insightful. I was curious because as you may have seen in that Forbes article, I was looking at some new, social media trends like with TikTok. And there's so many, TikTok's probably old news today, but there's so many things emerging all the time.
I've literally never downloaded TikTok or ever used it. I've had people be like, "Guys, you should download it, put your songs on there." And I'm just like, I don't know. It doesn't. For some reason, it's just like kids dabbing and stuff, and I don't know. I'm a bit of an old soul, I think, deep down.
How old are you, by the way?
I'm 22 now. But it's not sort of. I don't think it's really my vibe.
Yeah, I understand. I have an episode coming out tomorrow. An artist named Evangeline Gentle, and they're 24. So it's like two youngsters in in a row. Yours will not come out next week, sadly, the following week. But I feel like I just talked to her again because I was re-listening. I'm doing a new thing with transcripts, and so I was re-listening to our conversation, and it's sort of like, it's revisiting the conversation. So I feel like I just talked to her yesterday. But I'll have to send you a link. I think you might enjoy. She's doing her. It's her debut album. She released in Canada, but she's doing a release in America and maybe elsewhere too right now. So she's pretty excited. It's pretty cool. And I say if she hears that, if they hear this, I'm so sorry. I'm not supposed to say that. It's a they them thing. So Evangeline, if you heard that, forgive me. I'm new to these things. Let's see here. How are we doing on time? We're okay. You okay? Still on time?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I know got loads of time.
Hey, I wanted to mention something to you. I noticed you had something posted about The Deep, a new music venue coming up, which is exciting, of course, right?
Yes, yeah. There's quite a few issues that have happened sort of in the local music scene in Cardiff. There's a really good blog and sort of gig guide. It's called Minty's Gig Guide, and he posts about um, venues that are closing down and funding for them, and signing petitions to try and keep venues open and stuff like that. Because there's been quite a few instances here in Cardiff and in the UK, I believe, where there's been a lot of venues that have been closed down to be turned into sort of retail spaces and stuff like that. Like there was one called, I think it was called the Big Top down in Cardiff, and oddly enough, never played there, but I've been to loads of gigs there. Saw quite a few of my mates' bands play there, like Carolines and stuff like that. And yeah, it was a lovely, lovely venue. They had this sort of like circus sort of tent roof with a big disco ball in the middle, all multicolored, really, really beautiful venue. Lots of lights, really stunning. And they just announced like, oh, the landlord's sort of ending our lease and they're going to turn it into office space. And that was just before lockdown happened. But yeah, it's like oddly enough, that I think there's been sort of two new venues that have just recently popped up locally in Cardiff, which is really cool.
That's nice. Well, and thanks for kind of sharing that. It's nice that there are these kind of relief efforts going on for them, for some of the venues to try and help them out. I've seen them elsewhere. And I wanted to say for people listening and for you as well, because I've been performing so ridiculously long as a live performing musician, it'll happen again. I think very specifically about a 10-year period of time that I was in the Silicon Valley area of California and playing music there. And there were two specific economic periods, kind of crises that occurred during that 10-year period, and a lot of venues just vanished. And one time it was very much, actually both times, very much what you just described occurred, where, we have tenants who can pay a lot more now. And so,
Yeah.
sorry, we're gonna we're gonna end your lease.
Yeah.
And then, COVID. This is something I never. My wife is, she's has a chemistry degree with microbiology degree with a chemistry minor, or maybe it's the other way. But anyway, she's been fascinated with virology all her life, and she's been telling me for a long time that this is gonna come.
Gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't really know what the ramifications are until something like this happens. But anyway, my point was that it'll happen again. But the lovely thing is, and you just in the post, I guess maybe I don't know if it was on Facebook or what, demonstrated or showed that it's sort of a sad but exciting cycle of life. That some will go and some new ones will come.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and sometimes like one of these times that it happened in my life, I was playing with a couple of bands that were doing fully electric amplified gigs all the time, and when a lot of venues vanished, I was lucky and saw another opportunity for an emerging live music scene at wineries. So I had suggested, and everyone was on board, that we tailor our sets to acoustic venues, which was easy enough for us to do, and it turned into a whole new set of places to play. But I guess it speaks to what everybody's kind of going through now, and a lot of people are figuring out ways to change what they do. But with live music, I know that probably the biggest takeaway that I hope people will get is if you keep your mind and eyes open enough, you may see other opportunities, even if venues are kind of disappearing.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been quite lucky. So like the year, obviously we're in lockdown now, so I haven't had a chance to. But I started sort of venturing out a lot more with my gigs, and played a Mardi Gras festival in Hastings here in the UK, which is like a 4-hour drive away, and played quite a lot of really lovely London venues. There's one that like a couple like really big artists have sort of played, which was the Bedford, and that's a stunning venue, really stunning venue. So I'm always sort of glass half full sort of guy, I think. Anyway, so if something closes down, like I'll always sort of be hopeful and think sort of there'll be something along the corner that'll open up anyway. So yeah, so it's a weird, so it is kind of like a circle of life, but in the venue scene.
It is, and you just reminded me too that the other thing I learned was, and I think everybody knows, or the smart ones know, that the relationships you develop at those venues are very important. Sometimes those people scatter to new venues or other venues that didn't go away, and then you have a gig somewhere you never would have had before had that person that you had such a great relationship with not gone there. And that had happened to me too. So I guess just to state the obvious for everyone, that those people at the venues are so important.
Oh yeah, I had a really just she just reminded me, I had a really stunning gig where um I booked like an Airbnb and I was gonna go out with my then girlfriend and things didn't happen like as long as I would like with her, and ended up breaking up and I didn't eat for like a week. And I went and played this gig in London and stayed there, and like the Airbnb hostesses, bless them, they like, they knew that I was coming with or they thought I was going to be coming with a girlfriend, so they made it all romantic with fairy lights and all this stuff. And then I turn up and there's no one else with me, and they're like, "Oh, where's your girlfriend?" And I was kind of like, "Ah," so like, not anymore. And then yes, I did this gig in London, and I said on mic, I was like, "I'm having a bit of a shoddy time, so if anyone wants to come up and hug me after my set, you're more than welcome." And like finished my set, had like a million hugs, which is really, 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 really nice. And then the venue owner, which is weird because like wouldn't be able to hug people now,
Yeah.
but like the venue owner, he said he was like, I'll cook you some of my homemade, proper Indian cuisine. He was like, I'll make you this the sagaloo. It's not on the recipe for the venue. I only make it for people who I think are really sort of lovely and the artists and stuff like that. And he cooked me this amazing, and it was like the first meal that I'd ate in a week. And he's just a lovely guy. It's just a memory that just popped up into my head when you mentioned sort of the lovely people that you end up meeting at venues. And yeah, there's plenty of people out there, and it's definitely one thing that I'm sort of missing is being able to meet new people and have those hugs.
Yeah. Wow. I know. It's every time anytime I hear a story or think about that, it's strange now that yes, we can't really be doing that at this time, and hopefully we'll be able to again soon. And now we're just now at a point where we can spend time with limited number of people and be around some friends on a more one-to-one basis. And I was telling my wife, we had a couple over, and I was telling her it's kind of weird to say, good night to anyone, because normally it's all hugs, and now it's like, all right, well,
Yes,
enjoyed.
okay. Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
It's
yeah, it
crazy.
is quite strange.
Maybe I'll weep when I
Just
have
kind of
my
like,
first hug. My
yeah, I did a set. I've been quite lucky. I've played a few museums here in the UK, which is an interesting venue to sort of play. I played the Natural History Museum in London, and then I also played the one here in South Wales. It's called St Fagans, and and that I did a set for the BBC Live there literally like a week ago, and the guys who set all the camera rig up and all the all the microphones and everything, usually you'd be like, oh, really enjoyed, nice to meet you, nice to see you, shake their hand or whatever, but it was all sort of like these like really far away sort of handshakes and stuff.
Yeah,
But they were really good. They made sure that everyone stayed like definitely 2 meters away and all that. So yeah, as long as everyone's safe, that's sort of the main thing.
sure. So what is on the agenda for you now with all these exciting things happening? And I presume that some of the excitement is around the work with Dave Stewart and Tract, and maybe there's some other stuff that's contributing. But what is on your agenda for new music or other projects?
So I've just recorded a full track EP with a Welsh speaking artist called Mary Matthias, and yeah, she's really lovely. Met her parents as well. They're all like a very arty family, all really sweet. I think her mum just did an art gallery, and she's a phenomenal artist. And her dad does sort of sculptures and stuff like that. And yeah, she came and we did an EP, and she did this sort of like drawing of me when we were like just a quick like 20-minute hand sketch while we were sort of making this EP. But we wrote the EP during lockdown, and then I said to her, as soon as the lockdown eases, would you want to come over and record some songs? So I did that. I've also got quite a few releases on the cards as well. So there's like there's some stuff that I'm really, really proud of that I'm really excited to sort of to share. I don't know how much I'm allowed to disclose depending on when this goes out. But there's definitely some very, very fun things going on. There's some stuff to do with Blackbird Studios in Nashville. And like there's an EP on the way and the single. and some other stuff that I'm very excited to get on the way with and doing.
That's cool. So, it sounds like I'm not sure if any of it was planned, but it sounds like it's just a flurry of activity, and it's like you're having trouble thinking beyond these things that you just told me about. So that's great, though.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it.
Well, yeah. There's been some moments that have been I can't complain at all. Actually, it's been fantastic. But it's yeah, some really exciting stuff. Really exciting stuff that I'm really sort of I'm dying to like blurt it out and be like, this is what's going on. But yeah, I'm hoping, or I will be working with Dave a lot more on this.
Cool. I just lost you. That your audio went whoop, way down. All your gear good?
Yes, I think so.
Hmm.
Is that better?
I think you're back. Yeah, it's probably just the internet here. Yeah, that will be very exciting. I hope that you do get to work with Dave more. And I can't wait to see that stuff. You're doing really good about keeping it secret too. Most people, I'm not kidding, you'll just come on the podcast and say, I'm probably not supposed to say this yet, but and then they'll say it, and then they'll ask me when the episode's coming out. But
can you not release it? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No. It's just it's some really fun. It's sort of the thing that you want as a original writer and musician, something that you want to happen for a very long time, has happened. Which yeah, so I'm excited to crack on, put my head down and work 10 times harder than I've ever worked at it. And like songwriting is like the biggest form of therapy for me. So it's just going to be nice to sort of put songs out there that mean a lot to me. And because the post EP, they're all stories written about other people and my local community and stuff. So this will be sort of my first serious releases that sort of delve into how I feel as an artist and what I want to sort of say. So it's going to be really, really cool to get that out there and sort of have my piece, I guess.
Well, that's amazing. I look forward to following you on that. And this is just totally random comment, but I wanted to make sure I mentioned it, that I saw this picture of you, I'm pretty sure was on Facebook, and I don't know if there was any inspiration whatsoever. I'm like, he looks kind of like John Lennon there. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, is it the glasses? Is
Yeah.
it my Ray-Bans?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, it was great. I mean, everything about it did. If you just kind of glance at it, I was like, oh, look at that. That's kind of nice. I looked like
cheers,
John.
thank you.
Yeah, was
Yeah,
that accidental or on purpose?
Yeah, well, I didn't. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the shape of my face. I prefer round glasses to square. So I bought myself a nice pair of Ray-Bans. First pair of expensive glasses I've ever bought. But I thought, I might as well now. And yeah, it was a really, really lovely photo shoot with a photographer from in Cardiff called Sophie Fieldwick, and she's really lovely. And we had a really lovely day. First day I ever got stung by a wasp. It was the first ever time, and that was like a week ago. Oh, I don't even know. Oh no, I was going to say I still might have something going on with my hand, but no, it's fine now.
I know that's painful. I've had something like that happen. That's in my hand too. Was it because you grabbed? Was it because you grabbed it, or what happened?
Oh well, So she was like, I was sat on this log, and she was like taking photos of me by this river, and I put weirdly enough, we were talking about it. I said to her, I was like, oh, I've never been stung by a wasp before. She's like, oh, no, me neither. And I was like, oh, yeah, I've never broken a bone as well. She's like, oh, me too. And we're just walking and chatting, sort of small talk, taking photos, small talk sort of thing. And then like I'm sat on this log and I put my hand on my knee, and it must have just been resting on my knee or doing something on my knee. As soon as I put my hand on my knee, I felt it like sting my hand then. And I was like, oh, God. And I was a little bit sweaty afterwards because of the pain, but other than that, it was okay. Like did the shoot, sung a new song that seemed to be released on her roof, and yeah, it's a really, really lovely day. That was sort of the first day since lockdown that I had that was sort of meeting people that aren't family members and stuff. So it was a really sort of nice chance to go out and do something, and it was also really productive.
Cool. Is that shoot? Could people see those on Instagram, or is there somewhere else they can see?
Yeah. So that shoot with the glasses and the stripy shirt. So that shoot is it's on there. Pretty sure I say that I've first ever time getting stung by a wasp. So if you're interested to see what I look like just after being stung by a wasp, then that's where to go.
Well, I will be sure to put your Instagram in the show notes, but can you say it for those people that listen to this in case they want to go take a quick look?
Yeah, it's I Go By Otto, so IGOBYOTTO, all lowercase, no caps or spaces, just I Go By Otto.
Cool. Well, Otto, thank you so much for spending time with me.
Well, it's been my pleasure. It's been really lovely. Thank you for talking to me.
Of course. Have a great day, man.
Yeah, you too. Take it easy.
Cheers. This episode was powered by Bandzoogle, the easiest all-in-one professional website platform for musicians and bands. 2 things that will help ensure you're in control of your music business and your fan-based community are a website and an email list. Bandzoogle can help you do both. Plus, a solid website makes you look legitimate. Serious musicians, singers, songwriters, composers, and performers know this to be true. If you don't yet have your own website, check out Bandzoogle. It was created by musicians for musicians. I use it and I love it. It's as easy to use gets, and you don't have to worry about plugin updates and security patches. Bandzoogle takes care of all that for you. The features and support are both incredible. See for yourself. Go to bandzoogle.com to start a 30-day free trial and use the promo code ROBONZO to get 15% off your first year. Plans start at just $8.29 a month. That's bandzoogle.com, promo code ROBONZO, ROBONZO, to start your free trial today. This episode was powered by ConvertKit. I have been a ConvertKit user since early 2016, and I really love it for the email marketing aspects of what I do. It's more than just an email marketing company, though. They are focused on landing pages, too, giving beginner creators everything they need to start building their email lists. Their new free plan allows creators to make unlimited landing pages and forms, and you can choose from multiple templates, personalize them with design, include an incentive email, create a thank you page, manage all your subscribers, and of course send broadcast emails. The support is great, and that is important to me. To learn how ConvertKit can help you connect with your audience so that you can make a living doing work you love, go to unstarvingmusician.com/convert or the show notes for this episode. Did you know you can help other independent artists find this podcast by subscribing on Apple Podcast or wherever you are listening to your podcast these days? It really does help, so I hope you will consider it. And if you have feedback, please go to unstarvingmusician.com to get all my contact info. You can text me, call me, email me, leave a voice message right there on that page. Just go down to the bottom of the page and you'll find everything you need to know. I really would love to hear any of your comments, suggestions, questions, whatever you've got. And you can find links to just about everything talked about in this episode at unstarvingmusician.com/podcast. All right, I'm peacing out. Thank you for listening and sharing with your musician friends and fellow indie music bands. Peace, gratitude, and a whole lot of love.